You're doing all right.
So you're
It's time to get started.
I'm sorry, Mr. Boss. I'm getting incorrigible today, aren't I?
That's right. Where's Bill? Good evening and welcome to the February 2011 meeting of the Tarrant County College District Board of Trustees. The meeting will please come to order. The first item on our agenda is public comment. Do we have? No? No public comment? Okay, the next item is President of Student Access and Success by Ms. Hadley. Ms. Hadley.
Thank you, Mr. Hudson, and board members, and good evening to all of our distinguished citizens in the audience tonight. We're always very pleased to have everybody with us tonight. We're especially pleased to have our Councilwoman Kathleen Hicks, who is with us. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. I was told that Councilman Danny Scarth may also join us. Is that true, Robert? He may join us later. Well, Councilwoman Hicks and all of our other special guests, you're in for a treat attending our board meeting tonight. You get to hear some of the great success stories that are going on at Tarrant County College. Dr. Eva LeBlanc, who is president of the Northwest Campus, has the honor this evening of presenting an outstanding program that she has on the Northwest Campus. Dr. LeBlanc? This is a program that has been a little bit long in the making, and one of which we are so very, very proud, the Early College High School.
Thank you, Mrs. Hadley, Mr. Hudson, and Board of Trustees. It is my privilege today to share a little bit about our fantastic program in partnership with Fort Worth ISD. What's even better is that I get to introduce the speaker, and that is Dr. Gary Goodwin. As I've mentioned before, Dr. Goodwin accepted responsibility and led this effort for the Northwest Campus and made something a reality that had been a vision for a very long time. So, Dr. Goodwin.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Hudson, Mrs. Hadley, thank you for this opportunity. We wanted to give you some general information, and then we'll accept questions or comments when we're done with this, please. Okay?
Every young person needs a post-secondary credential to thrive in today's world. Yet as a nation, we fail to provide too many young people with the educational preparation they need and that our society demands. We believe that an early college school is one innovation that provides traditionally underrepresented youth with a path to and through college. Early college schools provide rigorous, supportive learning environments that blend high school and the first 2 years of college. They incorporate effective instructional practices common to many small schools, and they are designed to raise the high school graduation and post-secondary success rates of underserved youth. Early college schools strive to remove the financial, academic, and psychological hurdles that prevent many students from entering and succeeding in college. Already, early college students are showing us that more is possible, and that with well-conceived school designs that include sustained supports, a college degree is an achievable goal for every young person. All early college schools adhere to 5 interrelated core principles. Although each school embraces these fundamental beliefs, they use a wide range of strategies for attaining them and for meeting the specific needs of their students, communities, and institutional partners. The core principles provide a framework to plan and implement early college schools and include suggested strategies essential to attaining each principle. Core Principle 1. Early college schools are committed to serving underrepresented students in higher education. Early college schools recruit low-income students, racial and ethnic minorities, first-generation college-goers, and English language learners. Early college schools recruit students who are at risk of dropping out of high school, not matriculating to college, or not completing a degree, including students with poor attendance, struggling learners, and students who are over age and undercredited. Student admission is not based solely on prior academic performance. Core Principle 2. Early college schools are created and sustained by a local education agency, a higher education institution, and the community, all of whom are jointly accountable for student success. A formal written agreement provides for full access to college courses, facilities, and support services. Dedicated representatives from all partner organizations meet regularly to review data, provide guidance, and make key decisions regarding planning, implementation, and sustaining the early college school. Faculty, staff, and community partners develop deep collaborations and participate in data-driven activities that advance instructional practice, curriculum development, staff development, and student support. All partners are actively engaged in developing sustainable funding for the early college school. Core Principle 3. Early college schools and their higher education and community partners jointly develop an integrated academic program so all students earn 1 to 2 years of transferable college credit leading to college completion. Secondary and higher education partners have aligned high school and college course requirements and curricula, and they co-develop an academic plan that incorporates opportunities for dual credit. The academic plan ensures that students strive for 2 years and complete a minimum of 1 year of college credit in the core disciplines. There are strategies and structures in place that provide students with the opportunity to complete 4-year degrees, including a graduation plan and transfer or articulation agreements. Core Principle 4. Early college schools engage all students in a comprehensive support system that develops academic and social skills, as well as the behaviors and conditions necessary for college completion. Early college schools develop and implement a proactive support plan that includes multiple academic and social supports to ensure students' progression through college. The support plan details how and where services are delivered, and clearly describes the roles and responsibilities of staff and partners in their implementation. Early college schools address barriers to students' learning and academic achievement inside and outside of school. Core Principle 5. Early college schools and their higher education and community partners work with intermediaries to create conditions and advocate for supportive policies that advance the success of the early college school. Early college schools collect and share data with initiative partners to help demonstrate effectiveness at the local, state, and national levels. Early college schools work with their intermediaries to develop communication plans that further the objectives of the early college movement. Early college schools and their intermediaries work collectively to influence state and national policy, including legislation, regulations, and the allocation of funds. Early college schools, with their partners, are involved in preparing teachers and leaders to effectively meet the unique mission of the early college movement. Early college schools and Tarrant County College, where tomorrow starts here.
Thank you. I want to first of all thank Chip Cogsworth for his production genius in putting this thing together for us, and also really want to thank Mrs. Hadley and Dr. LeBlanc for their support and encouragement, because without that we couldn't get this thing done. I want to introduce Mrs. Amy Moore, who is the principal of the high school and who is really the heart and soul of the thing. Thank you. So if you have any questions, we're willing to answer. Come on up.
You know, I don't have a question, maybe more of a statement, but I remember when this whole high school was kicked around maybe 5-6 years ago, and the former Assistant Superintendent Sue Guthrie was very much involved in the process. So I'm very happy that Fort Worth ISD has decided to take advantage of this opportunity in being able to provide more services, not only for their students, but future TCC students.
Right now, we're partnering with the Lake Worth Independent School District. Next year, we'll be with Lake Worth and with Fort Worth. And we're in the process, Amy and I have interviewed probably 120-some kids from the middle schools around the Fort Worth district, and we'll be selecting 50 to 55 of those to come next year.
Gary, you might explain that you'll have 2 ISDs and 1 early college high school, and that's somewhat of a rarity.
That's right. It is a rarity. In fact, we were discouraged from doing that by the state folks. Excuse me. There are only 3 in the whole state. Of the 48 early college high schools in the state, only 3 have multiple district partners. But the way we've been working with the school districts and their representatives, it has not presented a problem at all. We've agreed on the curriculum. We've agreed on the teachers, who will provide what teachers. We've agreed on textbooks. All of those things that might be a can of worms has already been taken care of. So it apparently, at least to this point, is not a problem.
I can't believe I don't know this, but how many grade levels are representative, and are you finding any particular grade level easier or challenging or adaptable?
Well, right now we've started with the 9th grade.
Okay, that's all right.
The ones who are there now will become 10th graders next year. We'll bring in
Minor.
approximately 100 new 9th graders next year, and so we'll keep adding a grade level as we progress. No, I don't think there's any grade level that's any more difficult. These are teenagers. These are 14-year-old kids, boys and girls, and you know how that works. In fact, we had an outside speaker in last night, and we asked her specifically to speak to the parents about the prefrontal lobe development in their brains. And we know that is not developed fully until the mid-20s, and that is the part of your brain that lets you make decisions based upon your actions, let you foresee things that might happen. And so we know those kids are 14 years old, so
Okay,
there are
so
days and then there are other days.
we noticed the lovely uniform shirts. Do they wear those every day or just
Well,
on
they
special
just,
occasions?
we've given them Thursdays off.
Okay.
The uniform has been a source of irritation for them and for us. The shirts are not so bad. They do not like to wear the pants and skirts or shorts. So we've asked the student council to come up with a proposal for a revised dress code.
Did you hear that?
Don't do it. Keep the uniform.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Dr. LeBlanc, Dr. Goodwin, Ms. Amy, thank all of you so much for that great presentation. See, Councilman Danny Scarth has just joined us. Welcome. We're pleased to have you. The next information report for you tonight is on an economic impact study. And I will tell you that a few months ago, the Texas Association of Community Colleges commissioned an economic impact study to look at the value that community colleges bring to the state of Texas. And during that time, they gave the local colleges an option to have their local economic impact study done for a very low cost. Tarrant County College opted to do that. And I've asked Reginald Gates to come and make a short presentation on, it's a very thick report, and we have a full report for each one of you. It's probably about an inch and a half thick, and you will enjoy reading it sometimes on the weekend.
Sure we can.
Thank you, Chancellor, and to President Hudson, and then to our board. I could probably do this fairly quickly and say the Chancellor just spoke each and every word I was about to share with you all. So I can skip that part of the introduction. And we talk a lot about the value add on the part of TCC, but as stated, this talks about the economic impact. TCC as an employer, what that does for our tax base, what it does for the state, in fact. So Dr. Linda Hines, as well as Mary Robbins, assisted in putting a great deal of the data together that we had to submit in order to produce a report. So I've asked Dr. Hines to come and do a topical report. As mentioned, we have copies, notebooks actually, for each of you before you leave tonight. So Dr. Hines, if you would.
Right behind you.
All right.
Thank you, Chancellor Hadley, Mr. Hudson, and board, and all those in attendance. Back in 2002, the state TAC group, which is the Chancellors and Presidents group, hired two economists out of Idaho, Shell Christopherson and Henry Robeson. And they came and we sat down with them on several occasions and looked at the data elements that would contribute to this kind of report. Last year, the TAC group asked them to do an updated form given all the economic conditions and so forth. So this is the report that they gave. I've added a couple of little things to make it clearer, I think. They looked at the investment analysis and the economic growth analysis. From the investment analysis, they took three perspectives: that of the student, the social perspective, and the taxpayer's perspective. At the top, you'll see this involves the student perspective. There are benefits. What are the benefits for the student? Well, it's the present value of their increased future income. If they come to Tarrant County College, they will make more money on the average than if they did not obtain more higher education. What are the costs to the students? There's tuition and fees, books and supplies, and there's opportunity cost of their time. If they're part-time and work a little, they're still giving up a certain amount. But if they're full-time and not earning at all, well, that's a lost opportunity for income. Even if it's at McDonald's, flipping hamburgers, it's still a loss. This is still the student perspective, and this is in the millions of dollars. What they did is I'm going to go to the next slide, which I've I put it on that one. This takes our student population in 2008 and 2009. That's the group they studied. $538 million was spent. The benefit that they will achieve is right at $3,000 million, if you read it like that. And when you divide those two, you get a 5.4 ratio. Okay, I wanted to show you what that $538 million is made up of. Those students, and you know we have a large student body, they paid $41.1 million in tuition and fees. They paid $38.9 million for books and supplies. And their lost income is $460+ million by not working. That's what they would have earned. So you can see that that's how you get the $538 million. Now, they do an adjustment, I think it's like of $28 million for certain factors. But you can see that what they have come up with is that the student, for spending $538 is actually going to earn $3,000 more than they would have otherwise. That's a 15.8% return on the investment. And in your report, you can look at page 21 for the full calculations on that. What is the payback period? It's 9.5 years. That's how long it takes the student to recoup that kind of reward. We've known from national sources and all, but this is Tarrant County. At the midpoint of a career, if someone has less than a high school education, they make $22,000. And I can hardly read that, so I doubt that you can, the lights. But it moves on up. You can see the bar graph clearly to the point that they're making $66,000 if they get the bachelor's. But if they get an associate's, look at $46,000 versus $22,000. You can hardly live on $22,000, but with management you could live on $46,000. If you get a master's, it goes on up to $80,000 and so forth. Now let's take the social perspective. The added income is a social perspective addition to, and the reason is their higher earnings allow them to own homes and other property, and they pay taxes on that. So it feeds back into the economy. The social savings means that there's reduced medical costs. Did you know that educated people are healthier? Lower crime rates and reduced income assistance. And you've been hearing quite a bit about that recently. I have on TV. So let's look from the social perspective. $360 million of added income and an additional $13.8 million in social savings. Now, I added this slide. What are the social savings? At the midpoint of their career, you have less smoking and smoking-related health problems. You have less use and abuse of alcohol. You have far less crime, incarceration, crime victims, added, and then, of course, the offset of added productivity. And then you have less welfare and unemployment, which adds up to 13-point-something million. I rounded it to 14 million there. That is the social savings. So you can imagine if they're earning less and costing us more, you're really hurting. Now let's look at the taxpayer perspective. What are the benefits? There's added tax revenue and avoided costs to government. What are the costs? Well, the state has to appropriate us money to help educate those students, and we tax our local population. So it is costing us. Now, from the taxpayer's perspective, if we spend $231 million, the benefit is $454 million as they feed back into the economy, and that's a 2.0 ratio. The payback period on that particular one is 17.3 years, so it takes the economy or the local and state people a little longer to recoup that amount. That is a 6.7% return on investment. Now, the economic growth analysis, in addition to what it does for our students, we are, as a business in Tarrant County, we hire people, we operate, we buy supplies. Also, we have student productivity. So, we have the direct income of our faculty and staff and the associated multiplier. It's known from Lockheed to Bell Helicopter, American Airlines. When they pay a salary to an employee in a local area, it circulates 7 times before it leaves that community. So there's a very large multiplier effect for what we do. However, in their calculations, and you'll see it in the book, they do an adjustment. What if the taxpayers paid in those taxes and it was used for something else? So they do a subtraction. But the net effect is that $83 million is the net contribution to this regional income. Now, from the student productivity side, they have a higher income of our former students for many years since 1967 when we started educating students. We have been embedding in this community semester hours, certificates and degrees, levels of education. And that means that they are earning more. So that, and then there's the associated multiplier effect there. And that amounts to a huge amount. $844.7 million is that net contribution. So what does this all mean? Well, what Tarrant County College does is enrich the lives of students. It increases the student's lifetime income. It certainly generates government revenue. It reduces the demand for social services, and it contributes to the growth of the economy in Tarrant County. All right? Any questions? You have the full report.
Dr. Hines?
Yes.
I assume the students you refer to are credit students.
Yes.
So the study didn't address or evaluate the impact of the workforce
I
training?
believe it does include that.
In the larger
I
report?
didn't review that today.
That's all right.
Mr. Gates asked me. It's been a while since I actually did the data, but we provided them with all of that data.
I would suggest that that would have a significant
Mm-hmm.
impact as well.
Okay? Any other questions?
I do.
Oh, so,
What was the point? I mean, there's good information, but out of this, we determined that Tarrant County College produces students who are able to contribute to society.
well, we know a lot of things intuitively, and we're asked a lot of questions by the legislatures, by whatever. But I think the chancellor and presidents back in 2002 wanted to take a more concrete look at what really happens. And businesses do this all the time. I helped one time in the Houston area when they were putting in a refinery, and I did some consulting work. And you have to present to the national government the impact study.
Right.
And it does impact negatively and positively. So I think the presidents and chancellors wanted a pencil put to the paper by people that have an economist background to say this is what it does for the community.
And I guess it's not a concern, but the fact that this is good. It was a study of 2008, but when the economy is unstable, is there any of this that takes a look at where we are today?
Well, when you do a study in 2010, the last complete set of data that you're going to have ends in 2009. You know, you have to have a complete set.
Right.
So that is when the economy turned, and that's one reason they wanted. The economy is going to shift. Is it a
Absolutely.
multiplier of 7? Is it a
Absolutely.
multiplier of 6.5? You know, a lot of variables in
Right.
there. But this is pretty on track for any company's impact study.
Thank you.
Mrs. Burnett, I'll just add to that. It's also good information for us to give to our taxpaying citizens. It's good information for us to give to our students who are thinking, well, I don't know if I want to go to school or not. I think I'll just sit it out. And so it's very good information for all of us. Tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., Reginald Gates and I are going to be in Austin testifying before the House Education Appropriations Subcommittee on Education. And this kind of data, they're asking us these kinds of questions. I mean, tell us what value you bring. So it's very good information for us to have.
That was going to be my question. Are we telling the legislators this? Because the impact that this community college has on the economy in this district, it may be a little long-term, and it may not be a quick fix to continue funding at its current pace. But I think if I were sitting in Austin as a legislature, I would think twice before cutting out, because you're not only cutting out students, you're cutting out the whole economy, you're cutting out this whole district. And to address Robin's question, I would think if I remember my economics, the dollar that rolls around the area is based on, was it propensity to save or something like that? So probably that number would be increased. That probably in a bad time with the additional enrollment and the changing economy, our impact is probably more now than it would be in a time of growing economy, would be my guess.
And we are truly one of the fastest growing areas. In a presentation for Ms. Hadley, this 50-mile radius right here has more people than 37 of our states, just in 50 miles, more than South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, right on down, even Arizona now. And it's amazing when you think of the area that we serve and what it takes to keep an educated workforce.
Thank you, Dr. Hahn.
If there's no objection from members of the board, I would like to change the order of the agenda. We're going to, if you don't object, we're going to move item number 5 up and deal with it before 4, item number 4. Are there objections? Okay. Irma?
Thank you, Mr. Hudson. I am going to call for Mr. McClendon, Mark McClendon, to come and introduce our guests to talk about the reinvestment zone numbers 12 and 13.
Madam Chancellor, Mr. Chairman, trustees, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce the City of Fort Worth number 12, the East Berry Renaissance, and TIF number 13. Woodhaven would like to come and make a presentation, an informational presentation to the board. To do this, we have Mr. Robert Stearns, who represents he's the Economic Development Manager. We have Marguerite Allen, who's also from the TIF coordinator. We have Council Member 8, Kathleen Hicks. We have Council Member District 4, Mr. Danny Scarth. And we also have the pleasure of having Dr. Camille Rodriguez, who also serves on the TIF 12 board. Would you like to come forward?
I think we also have Mr. Andre McEwen from the Southeast Development Corporation. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, Chancellor Hadley, President Hudson, members of the board. Again, I'm Robert Stearns, City of Fort Worth Housing and Economic Development Department. I've been told that I need to be very concise tonight because the Chancellor has to get to Austin, and our council members also have an engagement for our former City Manager Del Fissler going on as we speak, so I know they want to try to get to that. So I'm going to try to move through these both of these presentations as quickly as I can. I also want to thank Mark McClendon and Reginald Gates for all of their work with helping us bring these two TIFs forward. It's been a long time since these were established, and our ability to bring these to you tonight as a direct result of their assistance and working with the city staff. So again, we're going to talk about two TIFs. The first will be Tax Increment Reinvestment Zone number 12. That's the East Berry Renaissance TIF. And this is Southeast Fort Worth. TIF was established in July of 2006 by City Council. Has a 20-year lifespan. Covers approximately 600 acres with general boundaries north Glen Garden Drive, Riverside Drive, Highway 287, and Interstate 35. And again, Councilmember Hicks, who's over that district, serves as the chair of TIF number 12. And the overall primary purpose of this TIF is to reverse the general economic decline that Southeast has experienced over the years. This is an area that has not seen any significant investment dollars in several decades, as a matter of fact. So the TIF will allow us to promote new and denser development in the future and to provide the needed public infrastructure to incentivize the mixed-use development and then deal with any demolition and environmental remediation aspects as a part of that redevelopment activity. And you see the boundary map, and there's really, in the TIF, there are really two major project areas.
Again, here is I-35, Eastbury winding here. You have the Sierra Vista area, which is already in progress, and then the former Masonic home site here, which is a huge development, which I'll talk about in just a few minutes. As for the proximity to the College District campuses, this TIF is about 3 miles from the South Campus, about 4 miles from the downtown area. So again, you're probably serving a large population of this community being served by the College District currently, and we hope that these redevelopment efforts will continue to boost those opportunities for student enrollment. Here you can just see some of the current conditions of the area, and you just go around taking some pictures. I mean, you've had older commercial facilities, abandoned facilities, older industrial sites, strip centers that have been abandoned. You have the old Oak Mall that has been abandoned. So there's a large amount of redevelopment activity that needs to occur in Southeast, and we've been doing a very good job with Councilmember Hicks' direction and the partnership with Andre McEwen and Southeast Forward Think to bring some of these projects forward. The overall TIF would really hit 5 components. There would be Eastbury Street corridor improvements. We would dedicate some funds to the Masonic home redevelopment, the Sierra Vista commercial development. We would also do some gateway improvements along Eastbury at I-35 and 287, and then additional projects as allowable under the TIF Act. 2 of those, which we've already completed, the All Church Home, or actually ACH for children and families, and the 1108 Eastbury, which is a small store called the Men's Collection, which is a nice story that Andre McEwen worked very hard on. Again, overall projection assumptions on the TIF, 20-year TIF, we are 3 years in, so we have 17 years remaining. The city is committed 100% of their increment. County has committed 100%. The Regional Water District has made their commitments. We're here tonight to give the overview to the College District, and we still are working with the Hospital District and the county on their overall percentage rate. Yet we are very conservative in our overall projections, base those on known plans, things in the work, as far as residential, retail, and commercial development, and we do not anticipate issuing any debt for TIF 12. Just quickly looking at the property value growth, again, this is just kind of a snapshot, but the College District didn't contribute any tax revenue through 2007 to 2009. In your contribution will be pegged at 50%, and just looking at a 5-year growth pattern over the next 5 years, your tax base should grow approximately 59%, so from about $29 million to 75, almost $76 million by 2014, and that large jump is really attributable to the Renaissance Square development that is in the way, and that figure actually should jump up to about $90 million or so by 2015. Again, this is a snapshot of where we're at today. We take a look at our projections every year, and we revise them based on, again, current market conditions. So obviously with the downturn in the economy, with the drop in the property values, that's impacted our original projections for this TIF. You see right now, again, from a snapshot, we're looking at about $12.5 million being generated from a revenue standpoint over that 20-year period. But I can tell you that our expectations, particularly with the projects that we know are coming online, that the revenues will be significantly higher over that 20-year period. Again, project costs, these are projects that are underway. The Sierra Vista project, Renaissance Square, All Church Home, the Men's Collection project. So we have a total of just under $10 million of project costs these are projects that have already completed construction or they're in the process of starting construction. And then we also have anticipated TIF costs of about another $10 million related to the corridor improvements at the gateway. And so you'll see that we really need everyone's participation in this particular TIF in order to realize the overall goal and vision for the Eastbury Renaissance TIF. Again, just walking through a few quick projects. You see the 1108 Eastbury site. This is an old tax foreclosed property here that was taken over. Key Song brought his store, the Men's Collection and Women's Collection now, and redeveloped this site, had some severe environmental issues. So they came in, cleaned it up, and reopened it last year as a nice dress shop and fashion shop in Southeast Fort Worth. You've got the Sierra Vista project where we came in and tore down about 1,000 units of the old Riverside Village. Plan is of about 230 or so new houses in this Sierra Vista project. Of course, with the housing downturn, that's impacted the pace of their build-out, but that's still underway, and so we're continue to look at those houses and that overall redevelopment. And as a part of that, you have the old Oak Brook Mall facility across the street, which will allow for some other commercial redevelopment activity in that site. The All Church Home, again, that's ACH for children, does intervention, treatment, protective services for children and families. They have taken a side at the Masonic Home, renovated the chapel, and they are operating in the location and doing some really good service within the community. And then the biggest piece of this, the Renaissance Square development, which if you've been by 287, and Mary, you've seen this development underway. They are turning dirt right now. This is anywhere from a $60 to $70 million project, approximately $450,000 square feet, of retail and restaurant space. They're anticipating about 1,300 jobs will be produced as a result of this overall redevelopment. And then, as an ancillary, there's about another 102 acres to the south that's adjacent to the site that is set aside for single and multifamily home development. And so this is really going to be a big piece. This is probably the largest, if not one of the largest retail developments in Southeast Fort Worth in decades. And so we're really excited about this development. I heard some really good news that I'm not at liberty to share yet about this, but really looking forward to an announcement on this project. They are beginning work on the turnaround. There's some access issues off 287, and so the city worked with TxDOT to get about $1.5 million to complete a turnaround, which will improve the access. That work will begin in March. That'll be completed in August, and then they're hoping that this overall redevelopment will be complete and open by December of 2012. And you can see just highlighted these areas in red. These are some of the streetscapes that would be going into the overall project site. Again, so the benefit to TCC, obviously the increase in the taxable value that we're estimating for not only these projects that we know about, but additional projects that are down the road. Again, the close proximity of this area to the south and downtown campus, and particularly those additional homes that will be coming in as a part of the overall Masonic home redevelopment, I think will provide some opportunities for new student enrollment. And you're talking about the economic impact and how that is an important component of what TCC does. And this is truly economic impact. This is truly what TIFs are designed to do: take blighted areas that have not seen reinvestment in some time and provide them opportunities for commercial and retail and residential development. So I'm going to move quickly. I guess we'll hold questions until the end of this, and I'll walk through the Woodhaven TIF. Our next TIF is Woodhaven TIF. That's number 13. Again, this TIF was established in November of 2007. Again, another 20-year TIF. Covers approximately 1,100 acres bounded by Trinity River, Interstate 30, I-820, and Willow Ridge Road. Councilman Danny Scarth is here, currently serves as the chair of TIF 13 as councilman over that district. Again, primary purpose, economic and community development, revitalization within a blighted and undeveloped area. And Woodhaven is a little bit of a tricky one. It's a challenging area because you have a mix of uses within this TIF area. You have a lot of single-family homes and the country club within this area. You have a lot of vacant land surrounding here. You have commercial uses fronting I-30. And then you have a just large number of apartments that have been built in the area since the 80s and have really contributed to the economic downturn in the area. The TIF is approximately 6 miles from downtown, so about 6 miles from the Trinity River campus, about another 6 miles from the northeast campus as well. Current conditions, as I stated, stagnant property values, increasing poverty levels. Again, no real new investment over the last 20 years. Again, part of the issue is the overgrowth of the apartments that were built in the area. The city actually went in and tore down a couple of complexes, the Oak Hollow and Villa del Rio, took out about 270 apartment units. The residents just again, moved to other apartments within the area. Even with taking those 2 units down, that still left 21 apartment units with about 4,500 rooms in the Woodhaven area. And just to kind of understand what that impact is, from 1987 to 2010, those collective apartment units have had a property value drop of over 50%. So they are really a drag on the overall redevelopment opportunities in the area. You can see here just some pictures of the site, kind of areas uncared for, lack of sense of pride in some areas. Then you see here some older commercial facilities that have either been shuttered, closed for a while, and they have been replaced by your Family Dollars, Dollar Generals, and things like that. I will say that we have a nice little story to tell about this Woodhaven Shopping Center here, and I'll talk about that very quickly. Again, so proposed TIF projects, we've got corridor improvements, public infrastructure such as water, sewer, drainage. We would renovate 2 old strip centers along the Woodhaven and Boca Raton. We'd also look for some new construction at the site of the former apartments that we tore down along Boca Raton and Oakland Hills, and then gateway enhancements along Woodhaven, Randallwood Road, Boca Raton, and Bridge Street. Again, this is kind of a good story. The Potter's House, Reverend T.D. Jakes has come in and done a nice redevelopment of the old Woodhaven Shopping Center, that picture I showed you earlier. They have been operating, I think, a little bit under a year now, but have really taken steps to get out and meet the community, know the community, learn what's going on, build some partnerships. The city is in the process of locating a police storefront here, which I think will be going to council at our March 1st meeting. And so this is really the start, a small start, but a start of what we could see redeveloping in this area. Again, participation 100% by the city and the Tarrant Regional Water District, participation by the county and the hospital district at 80%. We still have to obviously go back to the hospital district, and then college district pegged at 50%. Again, we do not anticipate issuing any debt for this TIF. Again, our total estimated cost, we've got about $13.5 million of estimated project costs. Estimated revenue at this time, again, $17.5 million. That may be a little high based on some of the property values drops that we've seen in the last year. But again, I think assuming that we get some of the development activity that we're expecting, that we should be able to rise up and meet these numbers from the early projections. And again, benefits of TCC, the economic impact, the job creation aspect. You do have close proximity to the Northeast campus. I know when I grew up in part of Woodhaven and would actually go out and work at the Northeast campus many years ago. So I know it's just a straight shot up Loop 820. Again, you get the opportunity to reverse an economic decline of an area that hasn't seen investment for many years, increase public perception, reduce crime, and again, that future opportunity will hopefully result in not only tax increment, but additional student population for the college district. So our next steps, staff would return to the Board of Directors on your next meeting on March 10th to request formal approval of these 2 TIFs, and I will answer any questions you might have right now.
I noticed that in this last one, the TIF was established in 2007, so this is not, our vote is just whether or not we'll participate in the TIF. And the county and cities, are they participating currently, or will you be appearing before that entity?
City and counties have both already approved agreement. They've got executed participation agreements along with the regional water district. So the only 2 entities that have not participated in these TIFs so far is the college district and the hospital district, which we're still working with.
How long have they been participating?
Since 2007 for the for the Eastbury TIF and 2008 for the Woodhaven TIF.
I'm wondering why are you coming to us now rather than then, or did you come to us then?
We have had a very long storied issue with trying to bring these 2 TIFs forward to you. At the time when these were established back in 2006, 2008, the city had, I believe, 2 or 3 other TIFs that were also in the process, and there was a desire at that time to kind of bring them in chronological order. So we were working through those TIFs. Also at that time, there was some staffing transition here at the College District. There were some staffing transitions with the city. You introduced your new TIF policy, which the city was trying to react to. So it was really just a matter of kind of getting into the queue at the wrong moment, and so that's been the long delay in bringing these 2 TIFs forward to you.
So I'm curious how you fund your project. You had a bullet that said you didn't anticipate debt. Does that mean that you will not be issuing bonds, or how do you finance your development?
Developers are upfronting these costs, and then they're being reimbursed on the back end by the TIF increment. So
Okay.
we are not issuing any bonds in these projects.
Okay, thank you.
I do have a question. Am I on? Can you hear me? The Woodhaven area, East Berry area?
So those are 2 separate areas.
TIF 12 and TIF 13.
13, yes. East Bay is 12.
Right.
Woodhaven 13.
Are these, both of these, are they more residential and commercial?
Yeah, they are both. And again, varying mixes. I think Woodhaven is probably more strongly residential than commercial. Again, heavy apartment usage, condos, townhomes, and then single family. The East Berry TIF, because of the particular parcels, are primarily a lot more commercial use.
Right. And of course, I'm familiar with the areas, and they are very blighted. And, you know, Woodhaven was such a vibrant little community at one time, and of course, what happened to it? You know, we bring in a TIF and hope that crime will go down, and, I mean, how do we prevent those things from happening in those areas? I mean, it's a challenge for those areas.
It is. And again, with the Woodhaven TIF in particular, as I said, part of the issue was the fact that you really just had an influx of apartment use that came in. You had kind of some absentee landlords that didn't really take care of things. And as those properties went down, rental rates went down, and so it just began to have a overall drain on the overall neighborhood. You had, some restaurants, you had Bennigan's, you had Black Eyed Peas, you had, Kroger's, the real brand name retail establishments that were in the area that are now closed down, and you can't attract those types of uses right now just because of some of those issues. So it's a challenge, but that's why we've brought this TIF forward and established a neighborhood empowerment zone in the hopes that we can reestablish that area.
Mr. Stearns?
Yes, ma'am.
In the Woodhaven TIF, the Potter's House is a church.
Correct.
So it's church-owned property. How much property is involved, and how does that impact the...
They have an interesting kind of setup there, and I don't have the exact acreage of the amount of land that they own, but the church owns the shopping center, but there's a for-profit arm, a development arm, that is really going to be the one that's dealing with some of the potential retail redevelopment that can happen there, and so that piece would be actually taxable property.
I want to compliment you, and particularly in the East Berry project. This has been I know this has been a long haul for you guys. When I was on the zoning commission, I worked with Council Lady Hicks, Councilwoman Hicks, on some zoning issues that were horrible along East Berry Street, and we finally got some things done. But congratulations on really trying to get some traction on this thing. Y'all have done a great job.
Thank you.
I think it'd be a great benefit to the college and to the community.
I think it might be. I'm always alarmed. People show up with 3 square mile, TIF reinvestment projects, and a lot of this investment looks like a failure to maintain infrastructure routinely, and a failure to take care of things like inspections, keeping apartments up to code. I'm alarmed because we have some budget problems of our own, and also we seem to have one of these that comes up every meeting, and every time we approve one, I get sort of a storm of phone calls and emails from constituents who don't think we should be as generous with our TIFs as we are.
Councilwoman Hicks and Councilman Scarth, welcome. And I would like to say that I think I've been aware of the development of both of these over the past few years, so I'm glad to see them continue to develop and to be at this stage. If we do nothing, the conditions there will only get worse. So I'm very encouraged that we're taking a positive approach, and I hope that we can join the partnership and help bring this to full fruition.
Okay.
Other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stearns, and welcome back to the Fort Worth Economic Development side
Thank
of
you,
the house.
Chancellor. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's good to be home.
For those of you who don't know, Mr. Stearns was in this position sometime before, and the city of Arlington stole him away, and he decided to come back to Fort Worth after all. So, Councilwoman Hicks, Councilwoman Hicks, you want to stand up for a minute? Councilman Dennis Scarth, thank you both for being here with us tonight. We appreciate it very much, and we understand that you must leave and go to the reception for our city manager, so give him our regards, please. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is approval of minutes from the last meeting. Are there corrections to the minutes? If not, then they will be approved as presented. The next item is the consent agenda. On the consent agenda, we have items listed that are non-controversial. We assume they've been hashed out enough that, we have discussed these. And also, we give each board member the opportunity, if a board member sees an item on the consent agenda that you want to pull and you want to discuss and deal with separately, we allow you to do that. So are there any items to be removed from the consent agenda?
I don't have any on mine, but I don't remove, but I do want to compliment some our staff people who worked on, particularly on this, number 8 tri-dial slip liner. It sounds like a thing, but it's an $800,000 plus savings, and it would have been easy just to let it slide, but they didn't. They checked it out, they followed it up, and found out that it was just simply work that did not need to be done, and I'm going to compliment them for that.
Thank you very much, Mr. Carter. I was going to do that, so it's better coming from a board member. Thank you very much. Nina and her staff have done an absolutely outstanding job. That's just one example of the very large number of dollars that they have saved the college, so we're very appreciative, Nina.
Okay, if there's no items to be pulled, I need a motion to approve the consent agenda. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Motion carried. The next item on the agenda is the consideration and action regarding a memorandum of understanding authorizing the exchange of real property located in blocks 1, 2, 3, and 4, Tanker Edition Number 3, to the city of Fort Worth, Tarrant County, Texas, in the A. Gornot Survey 8-582, Tarrant County, Texas, in the M, and you'll pardon me if I don't pronounce these correctly, Bo Survey A-106, Tarrant County, Texas, and in the A. Robinson Survey, Tarrant County, Texas, with Tarrant Regional Water District.
Mr. Hudson, we have with us this evening to discuss this Birch Waldron, our counsel, along with Nina Petty, who has led this project from the beginning for your consideration. As you know, we have had, I believe, 4 sessions to date with the board to brief you on all of the details of this, and now they have the final one for your consideration for approval tonight. Nina?
Thank you. Good evening. I've asked Karen Burkhart to pass out the map that's behind you on the screen that might be a little bit hard to see, so you'll have a hard copy of it in front of you. Greetings, Chancellor Hadley, President Hudson, and Board of Trustees. Thanks for the time tonight. I'm very, very pleased to present the proposed land exchange for your consideration this evening between Tarrant County College and Tarrant Regional Water District, which is formalizing a long-time real estate plans between the two districts regarding property around our two downtown Fort Worth campuses. Based on a formal appraisal undertaken that I have in my hand this evening, it's probably over 100 pages long, that was undertaken by a state-registered appraiser, Integra Realty Resources, and specifically Ben Lockery, who's an appraiser and a very well-respected person in our community. The exchange I'm going to explain this evening is an even exchange. I'm going to direct your attention to the map here, and great, thank you. Let me just orientate you with this, and I'll try to go back and forth for the public, too. First of all, this is Henderson, and this is Main Street. And what I'm going to do is talk about the properties that are outlined in black. These are the properties that Tarrant County College owns. We own some property around this parking easement west of Henderson, this really in this area. This is Trinity River Campus. This is the Trinity River East Campus. Sometimes we call it TREC, is a nickname that we are currently building on. And it's going to be open for classes late August and house our health professions. Across the river north, this property here outlined, maybe I'll go over here for the audience. This property here we own. And we also own this property here where it's the Texas Electric building, which is here. Okay, so that orientates you. And I'm going to get into a fair amount of detail. So you may have some questions, and maybe I'll ask you to wait until the end, because I think hopefully we'll answer most of the questions as we go through this. So Tarrant County College, as a part of this land exchange, will receive the properties. There's 4 tracts that are in purple. Okay, and the Water District receives the 3 tracts that are in green. And based on the appraised value of this book here, the exchange is an even exchange. In addition, Tarrant County College will receive $3 million as a part of the exchange. So now I'm going to go into a little bit more detail so that you can really understand this. And I'm going to focus first on the green properties, which are the properties that we will convey to the Water District. And that is C, which is this property. I'll go into a little bit more detail here in a minute. D, which is this property. E, and this little bitty piece over here, I. I'll do it up here on the screen too, just so we can C, D, E, and I. So those properties we will be conveying to Tarrant Regional Water District. And we're doing this because we really don't see any advantage in holding these properties. We do not believe that the properties hold any value or future benefit to our students, staff, and our taxpayers. Now let me go into a little bit more discussion about this track C, which is here, which is this sort of funny shaded one. This is an option track. So we'd actually have to exercise an option to own this track. Once you exercise the option, you are responsible for cleaning up the environmental that's on that property, which we know exists. So we're actually exchanging this property, giving it to the Water District, which means they'll exercise the option and they will be responsible for cleaning up all the environmental. So that's a really good thing for us, because as a college district, we're really not equipped to be dealing with environmental issues. And Tarrant Regional Water District actually really is equipped to be doing that. And as they're cleaning up the Trinity River, they'll be looking at properties all along. So we think this is a really great exchange for us. So now let's talk about the properties that Tarrant County College will receive, and I'll start over here with this track A, okay, which is this one right here. This is an easement. It's a parking easement. It's west of Henderson. It was the old Leonard's and Tandy parking lot. Currently, we have fenced off a parcel here where we can park around 360 cars. And so we'll be forgoing this easement, but for as long as they do not need it, Tarrant Regional Water District doesn't need it, we can park there. But we've really identified that there's 360 spaces that we will get, and it's an easement. As a part of this exchange, we'll get to own that property. And what's unique about that is that provides us a lot of flexibility as we move forward. Should we need to fulfill any future parking and want to build infrastructure there, for the needs of our student population downtown. So we have no plans to build on that today. Again, it's a surface parking lot, but it will provide us flexibility should any infrastructure needs arise over the next years. So that's great. So let's go now to track B, which is right here, which is in the front of the Trinity River campus. And B is right along the riverfront. And we felt this was important because it allows us to really keep intact green space that preserves a very comfortable environment for our students and the staff at Trinity River campus. As they continue to develop the Trinity River vision, we want to be able to protect our waterfront right here and not have a McDonald's or something pop up there. So it's nice that we'll be able to have that and protect that. Let's jump to G, which is right here, which is a part of the Trinity River East campus. And this is an important piece for us because it really completes and formalizes a long-held agreement with the Water District. And it allows us to acquire the property for our Trinity River East campus and the footprint that's there. And again, that's opening in late August for classes. Now I'm going to jump across the river to the north side. Again, this is the property that we own on the north side of the river. G is important for us, and I kind of look at G as what I would call a multiplier. It helps round out a piece of property that we don't have any real plans for, but it truly maximizes our taxpayers' value if we decide to sell this piece of property because this is riverfront. And again, just having this little notch here, this now gives us this whole piece. Again, we have no plans for this piece of property, but it helps round out the parking if we ever decide to market that. So that's really it in a nutshell. Before I turn the podium over to Birch Waldron, our trusted attorney, to give more detail and some history, he has literally been in the weeds in this for far longer than I have, I wanted to make a couple of points. We're basing this transaction on a formal and comprehensive appraisal for all the tracks that I've discussed, and based on this appraisal, we believe the exchange is an even exchange, and it's a good exchange for Tarrant County College. The staff recommends this approval for this exchange, and now I'm going to turn it over to Birch to go into a little bit more detail for you. Thank you. Birch, it's all yours.
Thank you, Nina. Madam Chancellor, Mr. President, board members, I've been working on this since 2004 when y'all started assembling the land for the downtown campus. And I can't tell you how pleased I am to be able to have been here and now see it coming to completion on all these phases. I really have enjoyed working on it and appreciate the opportunity to do that. The track G, if you turn it down a little bit, was what was originally going to be part of a swap with the Water District. And your board back in 2006 was planning on building on both sides of the river. It's before we bought Radio Shack. And the Water District was going to give the college land on both sides of the river between its buildings where the river is between G and F. And the college was going to give the Water District track C and some other property. And the boards met and said, we're okay with going ahead with this. Staff, y'all figure out how to do it and get back to us. And while that was happening, a decision was made, let's not build on the north side of the river. Radio Shack became an opportunity, and Radio Shack campus was bought instead. So at that point, the college didn't need all the land that had been discussed with the Water District. But the Water District, knowing that we were talking about doing an exchange, had told us, you know what, y'all go ahead and build on G. We'll give you a license to build there, and ultimately we'll sell it to you or we'll do an exchange. Well, when the college decided to buy Radio Shack, and we were still on their land, we had a right to be there under their agreement, but we've been looking since then, well, what makes sense, since we didn't need all the land they'd proposed before, what makes sense for both entities to do instead, with G still being part of the exchange. And this exchange here that Nina's outlined is the culmination of a lot of work about what works best for the college with the land it has now, with the Trinity River campus, and how that's all being developed. And that's how it's come to be presented to you here like this. The documents that we have and the legal way we're doing this is with a Memorandum of Understanding. The Tarrant Regional Water District took up this Memorandum of Understanding on Tuesday, and they voted that they wanted to go forward with it. The Memorandum of Understanding is each board's conclusion that they would like to do this deal, and they authorize their chief executives, y'all with Ms. Hadley on the one hand as Chancellor, and the Water District with their General Manager, Jim Oliver, on the other, are authorized by the Memorandum of Understanding to go and enter into an exchange contract, which is attached to the Memorandum of Understanding. So if tonight you all decided that you wanted to enter into this exchange, what you would be doing is voting to enter the Memorandum of Understanding. President Hudson would sign it on behalf of the board, and that would authorize your Chancellor to go and execute the contract that's attached to the Memorandum of Understanding. That's the legal process that's being followed if you decide to go forward with this. The closing, if you go forward, this would be scheduled to close on May the 1st of this year, and we would pursue the contract just like any regular transaction where both sides look at the title, they make sure everything's okay. You would be getting title insurance on the property you're acquiring. The Water District will get title insurance on the property they're acquiring. So we'll vet it all out fully during the period between now and May 1st when we close. That's kind of the legal nuts and bolts of how this proceeds. And with that, I'd just ask if there's any questions at this point. And I guess I'm done with my presentation.
Birch, I've asked this question before. Tell me again about the condition regarding the option. The TXU has to consent to the option being the assignment of the option in essence. And that's a condition precedent. Tell me more about that condition precedent.
Okay.
I still
Okay. When
with that.
in 2004, the college bought. If we turn on the lights, we can see this a little better. In 2004, the college bought the land on each side of Main Street. There and there. And at that time, TXU also owned this land. We discovered during our environmental investigation, and we kind of knew going in, that the land that's Tract C, right there, has environmental conditions, and it's right here for those in the audience. It's got buried lead in this part of it, with a clay cap on top of it. The Texas Commission on Environmental Quality has an agreed order with TXU that they need to maintain that, keep that lead from getting out. There's underground water that has petroleum-type contamination in it. So the college at the time said, we don't really want to own that, but we'd like, because if we owned it, we might have to clean it up. But since it's next to the land we're buying from TXU, we'd like to control it. We'd like to have an option to buy it in the future if we decide we're willing to clean it up. Now, the Water District, for its plans, is going to build a lake here. And if you look, it's hard to see, but you can see blue shading underneath it. And here, blue shading. They anticipate that that much of this sea will be in the water when they're all said and done. And actually, right now, where that blue is where the levees are. Everything outside the blue is either under the levee or in the flood zone towards the river. But TXU said, we'll give you an option to buy this, but we don't want you to assign it to just anybody, because whoever gets it, we'd like them to have the financial capability of being able to clean it up if they want to buy it. They want to, not just anybody. So they have a provision in their option agreement that says if we want to assign it, they get the right to approve of who's going to do it. The Water District has been in discussions with TXU, and nothing binding, but TXU has told them, hey, we're willing to let you take an assignment. But they're going to have to talk among themselves and decide what kind of trade they're going to make on that. Now, where does that leave us? Because we want this deal to happen. We don't want TXU, I think what you're getting to is TXU could say, well, we're not going to give our consent to the assignment. So what happens then? And we've set up our contract that's attached to the Memorandum of Understanding to give some different exit ramps out and to protect the college if TXU ever says, well, we just don't want to consent or they cause a problem. If we get to May 1st and the Water District has not been able to get TXU's consent to the assignment, then we've agreed the contract can be extended by either party for 60 days. And at the end of that time, or any time during that time, the Water District could tell us, you know what we'd like to do? We'd like to close everything else, pay you your money, and this is all in the contract. Pay your money, and then you just wait to assign us the option tract until we get everything worked out with TXU.
Okay, that's what I was wanting to hear.
Okay? And then whenever they get everything worked out with TXU, if it takes 6 months or a year, however long it takes, and TXU says, okay, the Water District satisfied whatever we wanted them to do, you can assign it, then we would complete the assignment. Okay? Now, if everything just fell apart, the only thing we have to have or want to have right now is Track G finished, because we want to open in August. And the Water District in the contract has said that if nothing has happened and nobody's ready to close yet, they will join with us in filing a final plat on Track G.
Okay, that's what I was...
Which lets us go ahead and get our certificate of occupancy and open the campus, and probably the rest of the exchange will kind of wait until we get TXU on board. I hope that doesn't happen.
No, okay, I just wanted...
But I really do hope that doesn't happen, because then we'll be dealing with this and trying to finish it up. But what we've tried to build into all these documents is different little ways we can go and still get what's in your interest, no matter how things happen. Does that answer your question? Okay.
I think that answered his question, bro.
Okay. I'm sorry I gave you a lawyer answer, but...
You're
answering to a lawyer.
Answer, right?
So at this point, from a legal perspective, I believe that legally these documents are in appropriate order. If you decide you want to enter into the Memorandum of Understanding, for you to do so. I have documents for Mr. Hudson to sign tonight if you do vote to do that. And I believe you heard staff's recommendation that they believe this is an exchange that works for the college, and it is an even exchange as far as appraisers are concerned.
And we get $3 million.
Yes, ma'am. We
To
get
boot.
the money that Nina outlined, plus you get $3 million in your hand.
Absolutely.
And the appraisal makes that an equitable, as Nina said, an even swap. I would also like to add my thanks to you all for the work that you've done, because you've answered a lot of my questions, and if you've attended one of the board meetings earlier, you know that I have a lot of questions. Some of them may be intelligent, and they may not, but they still need to be answered, so I ask them anyway, just for the heck of it. But I do appreciate your hard work and Nina's hard work and everybody involved in this, because you were patient with us, and you were very, very good at negotiating with them. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Petty. Thank you, Mr. Waldron, for that wonderful report. And board members, the staff and I recommend approval of this agenda item. We want to make sure we're ready to open the campus in August. The heater can hardly wait until that time comes to open up, and plus put us in a good position to really utilize the lands, the other lands that we're swapping for. So we urge your approval.
Okay. Are there any other questions or discussion? Okay, I would entertain a motion to approve the letter of understanding, memorandum of understanding.
So moved.
Okay, Mr. Greenhill has moved that we approve the letter of understanding. Do we have a second?
Second.
And Ms. Vanette has seconded the motion. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And the motion passed. What took you so long? Just kidding. I almost asked that earlier when you said you'd been working on since 2004. Couldn't resist. Okay, committee reports. Do we have anything on the budget report? Budget committee, Mr. Carter?
Budget committee, we've done some work on the, we've had one more survey come in from the, another one of the community colleges. That means all 9 of them have answered in. The last one, we were talking about basically participation, trustee participation, and they've all been consistent. This particular college, I think it was South Texas Community College, one of the top 10. They had basically 4 trustee work sessions, although they have subcommittees that they do some of those, and then 1 public hearing. So we're into a consistent sort of thing where you have 2 or 3 budget-related retreats or just simply workshops. In this particular case, too, this is only about 20% of them have workshops that are specifically oriented to salaries and compensation.
Okay. Will your committee meet this next month? Your report did in
We
March.
sort of got delayed here by some weather, some family emergencies, and some trips out of town, but I'm going to try to meet next week and just make some recommendations back to the board next time.
Okay. Thank you very much. Mr. Greenhill?
We did not meet this month, but we've been busy in the past. I think we'll probably be meeting with the auditors in connection with the beginning of their audit engagement next month, but we'll have to wait and see. We didn't meet this month, so I have nothing to report.
Okay. Same here for the Governance Committee. The Governance Committee started last month meeting to go over the agenda prior to approval. This time we were all kind of out of pocket, so we did a little email conversation, I guess, and did approve the budget, but other than that, we have no report. Okay. Since there's no action on the committee reports to be taken, we will continue to number 9, consideration and action on a resolution regarding financial aid. And you'll find in your packet, and I believe that was mailed out earlier, right? The background of this resolution, the resolution basically sends a request to our congressional delegation in Washington, reminding them a little bit about how important that we are and how important funding to the community colleges and to our students through Pell Grant, how important that is to us and to our students. And we're urging them to protect them. Could we get that? Should we put that on the screen? Do you have that? Okay. Or I can read it if you think that would be better. The audience is shaking their head yes. Okay. Board of Trustees resolution declaring support of Pell Grant program. Whereas all students should be assured of the utmost access to higher education opportunities, and whereas the federally funded Pell Grant program is an essential component of financial aid granted to offset the cost of higher education and increase affordability for low-income students, and whereas nearly half of all students enrolled throughout the Tarrant County College District qualify for the award program based on a demonstrated need for financial assistance. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Tarrant County College District hereby supports the continuation of Pell Grant funding and oppose a commitment to ensure maximum accessibility to higher education, and be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be submitted to Senator Kay Bailey Hutchinson, Senator John Cornyn, Congresswoman Kay Granger, Congressman Michael Burgess, Congressman Kenny Marchant, and Congressman Joe Barton, and ask for their support of continued funding for the Pell Grant program at its current level, less the funding for summer course enrollments. I thought it would be a good idea for the board as a whole to make that statement. We've been in Washington, as we'll hear in a little bit, last weekend, talking to our legislators, and a lot of voices are going to be heard by those legislators, and I think ours ought to be one of them on behalf of the college and on behalf of the student. So what's the wishes of the board? Approve the resolution. Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion and second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And motion carried. Okay, monthly financial report, Ms. Hadley.
Thank you, Mr. Hudson. We'll call for Mr. Mark McClendon to come and give the update on the financial report.
Good evening, everybody, once again. I want to repeat what we always do. We take both our revenue and expenditures and all our funds and our income statements, and we look at them and we compare them as a total to date. So if you look at a total to date, you would be looking at anything, and then we analyze anything that would be greater than a 42%. And everything looks good. Our revenue is, if you look at our revenue, it's a little bit higher than 42% because we typically receive our taxes in the month of January, February, and March, so that's a good thing. And on credit tuition, you also see a good percentage there, and that's because we've received most of the funding for credit tuition for the spring and fall semester. Sorry, the only one missing would be summer. We look at our expenditures. If you look at the total expenditures to date, they're a little bit higher. They're 46.5% compared to 42%, but that's due to all the different things that we have, the categories that have prepays. So in essence, the staff feels that the expenditures are fine. We feel we're okay, everything is good. So I'm happy to entertain any questions there. That's okay. I'd like to go to our investments. Our investments basically are, if you look at our investments and compare them to the previous months, they're a little bit lower, and that's because we received a lot of tax money, and we typically, when we receive that tax money, we first put it into a pool money, which has a lower rate, and then we move it into the higher investments. So if we look at our spread, we are a little bit higher. We are on the 13-week T-bill, we're higher on 44% instead of 15%, and on the 26th, we're 19 compared to 40. So that is my report. Is there any questions? Thank you so much.
Questions? Thank you, Mark.
Thank you. Chancellor's report, Ms. Hadley.
Thank you, Mr. Hudson. I'm going to call for Dr. Tahita Fulkerson to come now and introduce her two new staff people and one not-so-new staff person who has not had an opportunity to come before the board and be introduced. Dr. Fulkerson?
Thank you very much, Chancellor, Mr. Hudson, members of the board. When Trinity River Campus opened in the fall of 2009, we hired so many people that would have been impossible for us to come before you and introduce all of them. But as Mrs. Hadley said, because we have two new deans to introduce tonight, we thought that it would be appropriate for us to introduce one of our original deans. We hired two deans originally, Cheryl Roberts for Humanities and Dr. Drayon Johnson for Math and Science. And unfortunately, Cheryl Roberts had to take early retirement because of some family illness. But happily, Drayon Johnson is still with us, and I want to introduce him to those of you who maybe have not had a chance to meet him. He holds a BA from Texas Southern University, a Master of Liberal Arts from Houston Baptist University, and a doctorate in Educational Administration from the University of North Texas, Excuse me, Dre. Oh, my gosh. He bleeds orange, and I said that. Get your hand on. It's okay. Come on up here. Let me give you a hug. The doctorate is from the University of Texas at Austin, and I apologize.
That's okay.
He brings, but I'm holding him. I don't want him my way. He brings 10 years of teaching experience at North Harris, Montgomery, Houston Community College, and Lone Star. But his administrative experience is what sold us on him. He was the Dean of Arts and Sciences at St. Philip's in San Antonio, where he was given credit for establishing the Center for Excellence in Math and Science, and he initiated a weekend college there. And I want you just to know what a great guy he is. And Brian Stewart is going to introduce the two newbies, but I get to introduce the oldies because I'm the oldest one on the campus. You want to say a word?
I just wanted to simply say TCC is the best institution. After being at Lone Star and Alamo colleges, TCC is where I'm going to stay. So, thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Dr. Stewart, welcome.
Welcome, thank you. Mr. Hudson, board members, Chancellor Hadley, it's my pleasure to introduce two new I've rushed here from my daughter's basketball game, so I'm a little out of breath. Two new deans. Scott, if you'll come up here with me. My Dean of Humanities, Dr. Scott Robinson. Dr. Robinson holds a baccalaureate degree in art history and a master's degree in interdisciplinary studies, both from the University of North Texas. He earned a PhD in humanities from the University of Texas at Arlington and has graduate work from Western Michigan University. A first-generation college student, a native of Fort Worth, Scott began his career, Dr. Darledge, at your campus. In 1997, he began his teaching career at Dr. Thomas's campus. So he's coming back home to us here. His work history includes 7 years as program coordinator at North Central Texas College in Gainesville. During his tenure at NCTC, he was involved in a wide range of administrative duties. He then spent one year at Collin County in McKinney, and during his employment at Collin, he presented a paper at a statewide conference, and so impressed administrators at Stephen F. Austin that guess what? They offered him a job. At SFA, he was the new director of the School of Art. Scott immediately impacted the school. He was responsible for preparing the School of Arts for the approaching Saks visit and basically chaired their QEP team when we stole him away. So I don't think they're very happy with us. He's worked with over 300 undergraduate and graduate majors at SFA. Scott has an extensive experience in fundraising and growing programs in the arts. Scott's teaching philosophy is based on one fundamental rule. If you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong. Please help me welcome our new Dean of Humanities, Dr. Scott Robinson.
What a great homecoming. My wife and I were planning on someday retiring in Fort Worth. Well, we got here a little sooner than we thought we would, and we're glad we did. We are so pleased to be here. I left a tenured position at a really good four-year school to come here because that's how good and how much I believe in TCC. I'm just so tickled to be here. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Scott, and welcome to the TCC family. Welcome back.
And my new Dean of Healthcare Professions, Joe Cameron. Mr. Cameron holds a baccalaureate degree in biology science and a master's degree in biology from Jackson State University. He's a biologist with 12 years' experience as a department chair at Hines Community College in Jackson, Mississippi. Mr. Cameron has taught anatomy and physiology, microbiology, and zoology. He has worked closely with faculty coordinators at Hines Community College in the allied health programs, the dental hygiene program, radiology, surgical tech, respiratory therapy, and occupational therapy. Mr. Cameron also has experience at Belhaven University, both as an executive director of curriculum and as executive director of online distance learning. At Belhaven, he established curriculum summits with university administrators and faculty. In his leadership role with distance learning, he created the first online program ever at Belhaven, wrote software programs, and led faculty in developing asynchronous, synchronous, and blended course delivery. Mr. Cameron has strong experience and is an advocate for the use of multimedia to reach our students and to improve their success. He believes that multimedia extends new learning opportunities both to faculty and students and is eager to advance the use of multimedia in our allied health and nursing programs. It's my real pleasure to welcome our Dean of Health Professions, Joe Cameron.
Chancellor Hadley, President Hudson, and members of the Board of Trustees, TCC community and guests and so forth, thank you for allowing me to grace you tonight as well as to serve as the Divisional Dean for Health Professions. I'm extremely excited about being here. I come from Jackson, Mississippi. I've been in Texas for about 16 days now. And needless to say, I'm still a little bit tired. I'm still catching up, but I would not want to be anywhere else. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Cameron, and welcome to the TCC family. We're pleased that you're here. So thank you, Dr. Fulkerson, for those 3 great introductions. And now Dr. Lace has an introduction.
Thank you, Madam Chancellor, Mr. Hudson, members of the board. I'm glad to be able to introduce you formally to Mr. Kurt Driver. You met him informally last month when he was a part of Robbie Robinson's presentation. Kurt is our new Coordinator of Emergency Management. He is a graduate of the Tidewater Regional Fire Academy. He holds a bachelor's degree from Virginia Commonwealth University and a master's degree from Troy State. He's a veteran of 21 years in emergency response and planning experience, including work with the Virginia Beach Fire Department, the North Carolina Division of Emergency Management. He was the Tarrant County Fire Marshal and Emergency Management Officer, and he also has taught in the University of North Texas Emergency Administration and Planning Program. He has worked in more than 10 presidential declared emergencies or security special events, including the 2005 Super Bowl, the 2007 Daytona 500, and the 2010 Winter Olympics, and he says numerous natural disasters and emergencies. Now, I'm not sure whether the 2011 Super Bowl would qualify as both a natural disaster or a special event, but I take great pleasure in introducing Mr. Kurt Driver.
Thank you, Dr. Lace. Good evening. I just want to say I am very happy and thrilled to be here with TCC. I just want to keep it short and sweet. Very happy to be here.
Yeah, most people are, Kurt.
Yes, well, actually, since I do have another minute to share, then... Actually, I will say that I live right next door to the Northeast campus, and my children are in middle school and grade school, and they have a lot of friends that have attended the College for Kids program there. Very fortunate to be that close to it. They all love it, and I'm really excited to have a real connection then with the college.
Has anyone told you to apply early?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
That does include my wife, because many times we've been on the outside trying to get our children enrolled in the online process and the in-person process, too.
Well, welcome. We're glad you're here.
Thank you.
The next thing that I want to report to you, well, 2 things in Nina Petty's area. You know, she promised to give you a periodic update on capital improvements. Note that it's in your notebooks for your perusal. Oh, I'm sorry, my note didn't tell me that. Excuse me, Mark. Come on. Mark has a new employee. I missed that one.
That's okay. Madam Chairman, Mr. Chairman, and board members, we're really excited about purchasing. I'm very passionate, and we look at a lot of good things, and I have been running Mr. McMillan to where he is considered one of the night people here. He's always here from early in the morning. I want, Mark, please come down. I want you to introduce our new purchasing manager, Kathy Birdwell, and I think no better person and nobody would be happier than Mr. McMillan.
Madam Chancellor, Mr. Hudson, board, attendees, I wasn't expecting to do this. But I am very happy. We're very busy in procurement. We're doing a lot of good things. and it's nice to finally be able to get somebody to really concentrate on the tactical aspect of our business. So it's with great pleasure that I introduce our new purchasing manager, Kathy Bridwell. Kathy is a certified purchasing manager and comes to us from the American Heart Association in Dallas, where she was the director of purchasing for the last 11 years. And prior to that, Kathy worked as a senior level contracts administrator for the DFW Airport and for Dallas County. She holds a Bachelor of Business degree in marketing from Abilene Christian University and a Master of Science degree in Human Relations and Business from Aberdeen University in Dallas. Kathy, of course, reports to me, and as I mentioned, she will be concentrating on the tactical part of our business. I look forward to very good things from Kathy.
Well, thank you, Mark, Chancellor Hadley, Mr. Hudson, board members, staff. I'm very excited to be with Tarrant County College District, and I look forward to working with Mr. McMillan and his staff. And working in purchasing, it's a very strong passion for me, and I just look forward to working with all of you in enhancing and saving us costs and dollars and following our policies and procedures and making it a better place for the purchasing environment. Thank you.
Thank you. The word passionate did not escape me, Kathy. I love people who are passionate about what they do. So welcome. We're glad to have you. Now, I was about to call Nina Petty's report to your attention. I hope every one of you saw that. Okay, very well. The other thing that's happening in Nina's area, we don't have any details for you at this point, except to tell you that she and her staff are working on a plan to relocate all the employees from the Water Gardens place to the Trinity River campus. She's been working very closely with Tahita Fulkerson and her staff to decide what the best space is on the Trinity River campus so that we can relocate. I think our plan right now is to relocate everybody either from there to the Trinity River campus or someplace else where we don't have to pay. So that'll save the money. Board members, we have had employees at Water Gardens Place for 20 years. I'm sorry. Yeah, long time. Our public relations and marketing staff is there. Our research staff is there. The foundation is over there. Nina, you want to tell them who all is there since you know?
I just have a list. It's institutional research, public relations, the foundation, grant development, community advisors and community outreach, tech prep, and our call center are all there. So.
Has the call center is relocating to?
It will be relocating to
the
our
Opportunity Center.
Mm-hmm. And that will be during or shortly after spring break. And the community advisors and community outreach and tech prep are going to be moving within the next 2 months. And then we're looking, and Dr. Fulkerson has been very gracious in accommodating us on some space in Trinity River. Probably take a floor that would be designated as district offices on that one floor. So we'd sort of have it designated area. So we're excited. Saving costs. So
I heard a rumor that people at the Fort Worth, at the Water Gardens place, are very pleased to be moving to Trinity River campus so they can eat in the Riverfront Cafe.
That is right. And yes, that's absolutely right. So good. Thank you.
Thank you, Nina. The next thing I want to call your attention to briefly, the campus accolades. They are in your notebook for your reading. I just want to highlight a few of those. On the Northeast campus, Dr. Dardich tells us that Ms. Charlene Cole, who is the Department Chair of Biological Sciences at Northeast, is going to be serving on the 2011 Tuning Oversight Council for Engineering and Science, TOCHES. Also, the Northeast Campus chapter of the National Honor Society, Kappa Delta Pi, was spotlighted in their national on their website again, and for the organization's Founders Day activities that include handing out Pi, the PIE, to the faculty. Also, Cindy Ball, English professor at the Northeast Campus, is a member of the 2011 Star Telegram columnist panel. I think you have another member on your campus, too. James Branch, who is also a member of that panel, so you might want to read some of their missives in the Star Telegram from time to time. On our Northwest campus, we have Barbara Coberly, who is a second-year student in our horticulture program, who just won a $2,000 John Wright Memorial Scholarship. She has donated countless hours in the forestry program for the city of Fort Worth and the city of Arlington, and she's preparing to take the ISA Certified Arborist exam. I'm not sure what ISA is, but it's something that has to do with horticulture, I'm assuming, Elva. You hope so. Another really exciting piece is a ceramic wall puzzle. This is a really interesting thing. The students on the Northwest campus sold their piece for $1,300, which raises $650 for the Art Coalition Club, and we're very pleased to report that. I suppose, when we look at accolades on the campuses, the things that always stand out the most are the things that are done by the faculty and those that are done on behalf of the students. And when I see that the Northwest campus advised 28% more students this past registration than we did last year, that's a very great accomplishment, and we're very, very proud of that. And then, of course, for the late registrants, they advised 47% more this time than last time. Pretty soon we won't have late registration anymore, right? We're phasing that out, thanks to Dr. Joy Gates Black and her people. On the South Campus, Altheria Gaston presented Preparing Teachers for Diverse Learners in the 21st Century at the 64th Annual TCCTA Conference that was held just recently. Also, Ms. Kim, is that a Ms. Kim? I can't pronounce the first name, Ernest. Cloho Kim earned his doctorate degree in music, I suppose last semester. So congratulations there. And Rick Stitzel now becomes the conductor for the Rodeo Orchestra, taking over for our own Jack Cobb, who was on Northeast Campus. Jack was the conductor of that for years. He retired from TCC, I guess, last year or year before. And now Rick Stitzel steps up, and he's going to be the conductor. So we're very proud of that. And, of course, Dr. Ruth McAdams is a new author, and she just recently did a signing of her book with co-authors. Now, this is an interesting one on South Campus. Mark Hicks, studying new methods of converting complex multiple streams of analog audio over twisted pair copper into digital data, with the aim of improving the quality of the composite final analog waveforms delivered in a sound reinforcement and multi-track recording environment. I don't know what that means, but that's what he's going to do. He's doing a good job. Did he write that for you, Ernest? I'm sure he did. And, of course, Dr. Thomas reminds us that we're moving right along with the design of that green building on South Campus, and we're very pleased about that. On the Southeast Campus, we had 500 community partners, students, faculty, and administrators who participated in the 2011 Sharing a Dream celebration in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday for the Arlington citywide celebration. I know Dr. Carey and her team have hosted that forever, she said. For as long as they've been on the Southeast Campus, they've done that hosting. Also, Dr. Orlando Batcal, the Assistant Professor of Construction, and 4 of his construction management students attended the International Builder Show Conference in Orlando. Isn't it nice when the international things are held in the U.S.? The students participated in the IBS Residential Construction Management Competition, winning the Rookie of the Year award. So that is really nice. Congratulations. And, of course, our instructor, Yvonne Jocks of the Southeast Campus, is the author of a new romance novel. We perhaps should all get that and read it. Thank you, Dr. Carey, for that. And on Trinity River campus, on January 12th, we had the Children's Hospital on our campus. They hosted, Tahita's campus hosted that 220-person healthcare professional attending the Children's Regional Health Summit. Is this the second time that you have done that? Very good. And also on January 17th, in honor of Dr. King's birthday, the Trinity River campus hosted the King Fest Awards Banquet. That was in conjunction with one of our community partners, along with Generation Texas, Ms. Appleman. So that was very good. And of course, perhaps the most important thing they've done lately is on January 22nd, they had 100 future high school dual credit students on the campus to review the AccuPlacer test. That's very good. Hopefully those students will understand how important it is when they take the test to do their very best. Did I skip Northwest? I didn't. I got Northwest. That's it. Okay. Those are the accolades. And one last thing, on my report, I just want to give a quick update. Mr. Hudson has his own report about our recent trip to Washington. I will just say that I was very pleased to have Mr. Carter and Mr. Hudson there with me in Washington for the National Legislative Summit. Fortunately for us, I was able to meet with Senator Cornyn, with Congressman Burgess, with Congressman Marchant, and with Congresswoman Granger. The only one out of our delegation that I didn't get to see eyeball to eyeball was Congressman Joe Barton. The legislature and the House and the Senate were both extremely busy while we were there. Senator Hutchinson had planned to meet with all of us. We met in a delegation, all of us from Texas, and there were a lot of us from Texas there. Met with Senator Corning in the morning, and Senator Granger was scheduled to meet with us in the afternoon. She moved us to a room right outside of the Senate chamber where she was, with the hope that she could get at least 5 minutes to run in to say hello. She could never get free. And so her chief of staff and her education person spent about an hour with us listening to all of the things that we wanted to talk about. Mr. Hudson, of course, brought the Pell Grant resolution to you, and that's really the big talk about huge cuts that are proposed all over Washington on the Pell Grants. There are a number of things that the national group wanted us to talk with our elected officials about. Pell Grant, of course, is the underpinning of all of those, because if Pell is cut back as deeply as it is proposed at this point, there will be a lot of students who will end up not being able to go to school. So it would be different. Tomorrow, when I go to Austin to testify before the House Education Subcommittee on House Appropriations Subcommittee on Education, that's one of the things that we're going to be talking about. But the most important thing they want to hear from us is how can we make their plans work. That's the most important thing that they want to hear. And we'll be there to tell them what the cuts would do to Tarrant County College if they materialize as they have presented them at this point. Now, in the House bill, the first one, House Bill 1, they zeroed out every state student financial aid program. It went from whatever it was to zero in the House bill. In the Senate bill, there were cuts, deep cuts, but they didn't zero it out. We're told by some of our people who pay really close attention, some of those in the House and some of those in the Senate, that the House bill is not going to be the one that's going to pass. The Senate just will not approve that. Well, they'll go along with it. But Governor Perry gave his State of the State address while we were there last week for the Senate hearing. And, of course, they recessed the Senate Finance Committee so that they could go to hear the State of the State address. In addition to the emergency things that Governor Perry had on his list, which didn't include education, by the way. But one of the things he said was that he has, one of his goals is to offer a baccalaureate degree for $10,000, including books. And so we're all very anxious to work with him to make sure that we offer 4 years of college, including books, for $10,000. That's one of his goals. He didn't outline any details on how that might come about. So, Mr. Hudson, I do want to say one other quick thing. I have to stop and think what day it was. I've been gone so much. We just came back, I think, from Indianapolis. Is that what I just came from Indianapolis? And for those of you who were there with us in Indianapolis, let me see, stand up in the room. Who all was there in Indianapolis? Okay. So we have all of these people that you see who were there with Achieving the Dream. Larry, I'm going to put you on the spot. You were new to the meeting. Tell the board just in 2 minutes worth what you think that meeting meant for us.
Go to the mic.
Go to the microphone. He didn't know I was going to call on him, so he's always ready.
Well, I think it meant a lot of things to all of us in different ways. We all attended. What we tried to do is spread ourselves out because there were a lot of sessions, concurrent sessions going on, so that we could partake and glean as much information as we could. El Paso Community College won the LEA Award, which was given to the community college that had experienced the best achievement in the last year. And so I made the point of going to their session to try to glean some information about what do they do. And one of the things they do is they work very, very closely with their K-12 folks. They developed the information about success at El Paso Community College, and they broke it down by feeder high school, and then they invited the superintendents to come in and presented the information. And instead of becoming defensive, the superintendent said, we really need to work together to help improve the situation. And since then, they've developed bridge programs. Of course, they have a lot of early college high schools. I don't know how many they have now, about 5 or so. And so they've done a great job. And so I took a whole bunch of notes, and they also have a website that I plan to download the information from and really study that. We also had a group of, or experienced a focus group of students, much like we did on January the 13th. And it was really kind of interesting for me because the responses that the students had were just almost identical to the ones that we had at our Achieving the Dream session at the Hearst Conference Center. Some just really neat students who took it very seriously, and I think the basic theme was keep the expectations high. And the note to the faculty was, we're in the 21st century. You might want to check to see how you're teaching. Are you still teaching in the 1960s, 1970s method? We need to kind of update ourselves. So those are just some of the highlights that really impressed me. So.
Thank you, Larry.
Any questions?
Thank you very much. I wish I had time for everybody who was there to give their highlights, but we don't. But I thought as a campus president it would be good for Larry. We were very strategic in the selection of the people who went with us on Achieving the Dream. I guess the majority of those with us were faculty. The majority of, if not the majority, at least half of the delegation. We had a lot of people there, but it was really, really good for us. We believe, as most other institutions who participated in Achieving the Dream, that program really can be transformational for community colleges, because the thing that is forcing us to do is look at ourselves introspectively and say, no matter how good we think we are there ways that we can be better? And I think you will find all institutions are saying that they can be better. The community college student brings a lot of challenges. A lot of life things happen to them on their way from the first time they come to us until they graduate. It takes them significantly longer to graduate than it does because the majority of them are part-time students. Linda Hines told me today, and I've forgotten already, where's Linda? She had to leave. I think she told me 2/3, I think that's the number, 2/3 of our students are part-time now, 2/3. And so that means that they have a lot of work to do and families to take care of, and it just takes them a lot longer. And one of the things that board members are really going to have to focus on a little bit more with the policymakers is to get them to all understand that. You know, they measure us. If we look at our graduation rates, they look horrible. And not just ours, but community colleges, you know, around the country, graduation rates look really low because they say, you know, how many of you graduated within 3 years? Well, if you're taking 2 courses per semester or 1 per semester, you're not going to graduate very many in 3 years. But those students persist. And if you look at the number that graduated in 3 years and then 4 years and then 5 years, and the numbers go significantly up. So we have a lot of work to do. Achieving your dream will really keep you excited, very excited. So thank you, staff who were there and who participated. That's the end of my report, Mr. Hudson.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the Board President report. We kind of hold this item for each board member to present something, and we have 3 or 4 that we have something that they want to talk about. But before we start that, I want to say something. Mr. Greenhill's father passed away last week, and I wanted him and his family to know that our thoughts are with you and your family, and I know that from our previous conversations that your dad was a well-respected public servant, and I know you honor him, and we do too.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Kristen, I think you have a word to say about, I think, to catch up on the TIF or something.
Yes.
I ignored you earlier, I think.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just thought I'd try to provide some framework around some of the questions you had regarding the TIF with the Fort Worth presentation. Reflecting back on, say, 2004 through 2006, the board enjoyed numerous presentations from different entities. And at that time, I know we approved Benbrook, I know we approved Cabela's, but at that time, I think we were involved in 19. Those decisions were being basically made from the presentations. So at that time, again, we had numerous, and we just felt we needed to take a breath, and we proposed a moratorium on the presentations. During that time, Dr. Lace, staff, I know Nancy Chang was involved, did incredible research with other entities, taxing entities, on looking at best practices for criteria and guidelines when choosing a TIF. And we have that document, and it's very compelling, and it's a great tool for us to use. In addition to that, there was some analysis done on the current TIFs to see how they were doing economically and the value of the increment. And really, to our surprise, it trended up. And since that time, it has been a very positive process and experience and value for not only the TIF, but for the college. So I encourage new board members, if you haven't seen those documents, I'm sure Vice Chancellor Gates and a number of us could come up with those documents, because it's very informational.
Thank you very much. That's one of the benefits of having been on the board for a while, right? Because you gain that kind of knowledge.
Right.
Thank you very much for sharing that with us. Ms. Appleman has a comment that she wants to make about, I'll let you tell us.
Okay, just a quick update on the Achieving the Dream committee work. We had a community meeting on January 24th. I think I told you about it, and we had right at about 100 citizens come and participate and give us good feedback. We have another meeting coming up the 25th of this month from 12:30 to 3:30, and then if you really want to get into it, on March 3rd and 4th, we're going to be meeting from 8 until 5 each of those days. So if you would like to join and observe any part of those meetings, we'd welcome you. There will be 2 surveys, one from the students' perspective called the SEXY, CCSSE, SESI, not sexy, SESI. Well, for the students, we'll call it sexy. Tell them it's sexy.
I thought we were redefining.
Well, wait till you hear the next one. The faculty one is called SEFSI. I'm looking at Joy to get me through this. But each of these surveys will be conducted campus-wide, and you may hear some comments about it. It's to examine the institutional practices from the student's perspective and then from the faculty's perspective. So when you hear about the SEFSI survey, you'll know what it's about.
One thing I'll just add to Ms. Appleman's report, that community conversation, I didn't say anything because I knew you were going to report that, but it is good for you to know that we presented our data to the community. And that's one of the things that we're asked to do as we go through Achieving the Dream, and that is to let the community know what we're doing, all the good or the not so good. And so we reported that and got a lot of good feedback from them.
Thank you, Ms. Appleman, for that report. Mr. Carter, you were in Washington also, right?
I was there. I wanted to commend the Chancellor, too. She pounded the Capitol, trying to speak to as many people as she could. It was kind of interesting. I think all of us know just the payments on the national debt equal about half of what the country takes in. It continues to go up. And besides the people that she spoke to, and we went to see Congressman Burgess together, we had 4 or 5 congressmen that came and spoke to the group. And pretty much the message was consistent. We love community colleges. You're very important. And by the way, everybody's got to give something. I would be astonished if they didn't cut the Pell Grants by about at least 10%. It may be more. There might be some other programs that will be eliminated entirely that contribute to things. It's not. I was outside before one session, and another trustee was talking to a friend. She says, "Well, I keep waiting for some revelation. It's not going to happen." And I think she was absolutely correct. It's not going to happen. What's going to happen in terms of the assistance we receive from the federal government is not going to be pretty. I mean, and they'll just have to tell you. In fact, Burgess was very nice to us, very pleasant, but basically his message was everybody's going to give something, and I don't think we're going to be excused from that, and there's not going to be any revelation that happens that's going to rescue us from that. It's just not going to happen. So we just need to be prepared and do our usual thing, be prepared to do more with less, because that seems to be the thing. Do more, but we won't be giving you as much money, and we really haven't talked about the state yet, because there's a lot of people gaining on this party. Was that cheerful enough?
Yeah, you cheered me right up. You know, I go home now. That was a good assessment. And was it Weasel with Wall Street Journal? Mm-hmm. Spoke to us on Saturday morning, and it was either he or David Gregory once said that he didn't say what I'm going to say, but he said it. It took him a while longer to get there. He said that our legislative group are political cowards. I mean, that's basically what he said, because he said they're trying to whittle on 12% of the budget when 88% is the real problem. And so I think your assessment is correct. They're looking at cuts wherever they can find them and wherever it's politically safe, or wherever they think it's politically safe. Most politicians do that, right? I wouldn't, but you know. But, yeah, anything else that you would like?
No. That's the gist of it. It was a pretty enlightening session. It's amazing that you would have thought as much gloom and doom as were coming down that people would have been pessimistic. But generally, the community college crowd, they were up. They knew it was going to be a challenge. I didn't hear anything defeatist at all going on.
And that's one good thing about going to those kind of conventions, because you meet so many people who've been through about everything you can go through, and I think one of the comments was, yes, we're going to have problems, but we're community colleges. We know how to deal with it. So the positive side, out of this will come something better. My report on the legislative summit, you elected me or recommended me to be an associate trustee and sit on the board of governance and bylaws with ACCT. I did that, and our meeting was on Friday or Saturday morning early, and the issues that we discussed were for a first-time board member, you know how that goes. You really don't know what's going on, so you ask a bunch of questions. But basically what we did is the chairman appointed an ad hoc committee to develop a process for changing bylaws, which I thought was really good. We gave them some recommendations for giving other trustees ample notice so that you have plenty of time to know what's coming at you and time to vote on the recommendation to the board. They also felt that the board gave the committee a directive to find some way to make board members, ACCT trustees, more responsive and more responsible in carrying out their duties, because ACCT board members, the expenses for those board members are picked up by ACCT. And they thought that if ACCT was going to pick up the tab for those board members, their travel time and expenses, then there should be some mechanism for them to be able to guarantee that they're not just in for a free ride. And I thought that was a good idea, because if you're going to be a part of that organization, you should be a productive part of it, and you should participate. But I think that's true for any organization, right? Any board member or whatever. So I thought that was very good, and I had to leave to come back on Monday night, so I was not able to visit with the legislators, and I regret doing that. But by the resolution that I recommended and we passed tonight, I did send them a message, right?
That's right.
Okay. Any other board member have anything?
Yes, thank you. Mr. Hudson, 2 points. Turn it back on. You mentioned that the 88% is a problem in the budget. I want to remind all of us, when we start our budget negotiations, we will face that similar challenge. And I was at the Tarrant County College Opportunity Center last night with a community group who was very impressed continually with the facility. I don't know what the daily count of usage for those facilities are, but when I go by there at 7 o'clock in the morning, the parking lots are pretty full, and up until 8 o'clock last night, there was absolutely no place to park. So, Nina, you have a challenge for ahead. I'm very happy, though, that we do have the property there to provide additional parking, but I know we have a challenge, but I know we'll find a way to meet that. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, thinking about property, have we established when we're going to have our retreat? Have we set that up yet?
Yes, it will be in this room. We were going to have it off-site, but we can't stream the board meetings if we move to another site. And so we've decided to just have it back in this room, because
We
it
have
is
a date for it? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
he asked-
Oh,
he
yeah,
asked
I
for a
missed
date.
some emails.
March 5th.
March 5th, we're having the
Saturdays.
real estate
Yeah.
open.
Well, actually, what we decided to do, Mr. Greenhill, is to have and you may have been in on the discussion, have the workshop that deals with properties, but also deals with budget at the same time.
Oh, budget and property.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
So
Okay,
it will be all day singing with dinner on the ground, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Okay.
That's right.
As we used to say.
That's a country term, you know.
Okay.
Dinner on the ground.
Anything else from any other board member? Okay, we are at the end of our open meeting. We will adjourn the open meeting, and we will reconvene in closed meeting, since we anticipate no action on closed meeting. And the closed meeting will be on deliberation of personnel matters, Section 551.074, Texas Government Code. The personnel matters include the Chancellor's evaluation, including responsibilities, criteria, and objectives, and other discussion of Chancellor's employment, evaluation, and duty, and also deliberation on pending/contemplated litigation, Section 551.071, Texas Government Code. Thank you very much for attending.
Don't expect any action.
I did, I said that.
You said that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry.